Halo Infinite, a game we waited 6 years for, from the first engine reveal in 2018 to the Discover Hope trailer in 2019, where the only complaint I had was that Chief looked like plastic, and then we get the 2020 demo, which confirmed my previous complaint, which then led to 343 Industries delaying the game for another year so they could work on making the game better. Then the game came out with much improved graphics and what looked and felt like a really solid gameplay experience. Then the campaign came out, and while it had problems, it was a really solid campaign, leading the road for campaign DLC in the future, and with the community update livestream for Season 2 that we got as of recording this audio today, it's had a sneaky little trailer in it which looked like campaign DLC. But things have taken a dark turn at 343 Industries of late, and that's what we're going to talk about today. What going on, guys? Commander here, and welcome to my thoughts on the state of Halo Infinite. Now, a little disclaimer before we start. I wrote this script, or the most part of this script, before I watched the live stream 343 did showcase in Season 2, and while the content looks really good, and they're finally talking to us about what to expect for the future of Halo Infinite, especially for the next 6 months, that doesn't shy away from how silent they've been over the past months, and that's what this video is mostly going to focus on. So as of currently, Halo Infinite is not in a good state right now. The lack of communication is deafening, and when they give us an update, it's so lackluster they might as well not have bothered. 343 released a roadmap talking about Season 2 and what's to come with Season 3 as well, and my god, this thing is awful. Not only are we only getting just 2 new maps in Season 1, one arena and one BTB, but we're getting 3 new modes, one of which should have been there from the start, which is King of the Hill, one brand new mode called Land Grab, which to me looks like a variation of Strongholds, and Last Spartan Standing, which from the trailer looks like a prelude to Battle Royale in Team Battle. Beyond that, this roadmap is pretty empty. It talks about a new battle pass without really talking about anything. We did see that in the live stream as well, which again, it looks really good, granted, but we're doing this fracture thing again, but this time with new armor sets, and teasing some new features like mission replayability and co-op, which isn't even coming in Season 2's launch, we're rather halfway through. And this season is going to be 6 months long. So are 343 just going to leave us for another 3 months at the end of this season with little to no communication, and like they have so far this past few months? We also get a glimpse in heavy quotation marks into Season 3 and beyond, talking about split screen co-op and Forge Beta. And it's just the same as Season 2. Just compare this to Halo 5 Guardians' roadmap with what they released. Not only do they have 4 content drops released within the first year, but they also had 4 content drops planned at the same time. This is what I want to see from 343, but we're just not seeing it. This game is supposed to be a live service after all, and it's anything but at this current stage. On top of that, we find out from GameCheat13 on Twitter that a number of other reputable people in the game development world that for the first 2 to 3 years of Halo Infinite's supposed development, 343 were working on an Overwatch-themed hero-based shooter, and when that plan fell through, they then started working on Infinite, meaning they only had 3 years to get this game out the door, rather than 6 as we first thought. Now, if this rumour is true, not only could it explain how awful they've dealt with the development of Halo Infinite up until the 2020 demo, and how that looks so awful, but it also puts serious doubts into my mind as 343's ability to take the reins of the Halo franchise properly, because they clearly don't care enough about what Halo 6 is currently, since they spent 2 to 3 years on a game that fell flat on its face, and then thought they could get Halo Infinite done in the exact same time. There's also a little, again in heavy quotation marks, conspiracy floating around the internet that 343 supposedly sabotaged the 2020 demo to make Microsoft give them more time to work on the game. And there is also another theory that says that they purposely inflated the shop prices as a point to make with Microsoft. However, that last point, like this point that I've just made, we have no evidence proving or disproving either, so take that with a grain of salt, because I don't know whether it's true or not. However, 343 have proven to us in the past that they can be good at telling us what's going on and being transparent, but they only seem to do it when it suits them to do so. Now, I do want to point out that this isn't a bash at the community managers or directors, because they are being told what to say on their social profiles as far as games are concerned. This is a dig at 343 as a whole. All I want to know is, why is there a lack of content and a lack of communication? For someone like Joseph Staten or Brian Jarrett to come out and say, we hear your complaints and your concerns over the lack of content for this game, but due to ongoing staffing issues and technical problems with the slipspace engine, content is coming out at a much slower pace than we would like, and we just all we ask is for your patience while we work as hard as we can to bring you the best content available. I think the majority of Halo fans would appreciate this and would accept what's going on with Infinite if they just kept us in the loop about what's going on. Not necessarily in detail, but just explain why not, like, just what's going on briefly, like you're having problems with the slipspace engine, or we're lack of staff so we're not working on things as quickly as we would like. But just a bit of an explanation about why we're in the situation we are now. I haven't played Halo Infinite constantly for months, and it's not because I'm not enjoying the game, because I still jump into a game with Fiesta or BTB every now and again, but there just isn't enough content to keep me invested for hours like it did at launch. I currently have 238 hours on Infinite on Steam. That should be near 500 hours by now, 6 months in, and it would be if we had a decent content update, a consistent decent content updates till now. We haven't had it, and I just find better things to do with my time, rather than support this game that isn't supporting mine and the community's needs. That's a really hard thing for me to say, because I was hyped as hell for this game when it was released. When the multiplayer released early on November 15th, I was super hyped and I played it for hours the next day. I so wish that hype and excitement was still there, but it just isn't, because there's nothing to give me that feeling at the moment. Now, I do want to not necessarily give 343 credit, but put a suggestion or two into the ring as to why 343 is acting the way they are, and why content is taking so long. The first one is that I think the slipspace engine is causing 343 unbelievable amounts of problems, and to put it simply, it's a broken engine, I think. I know from experience using Unreal Engine that if there is a engine breaking bug, that it makes development of what you're working on 10 times harder, and judging by the forging campaign replayability, 2 features, one of them being a key feature that should have been there at launch, and 2 that are not particularly, I would say, the hard features to actually implement or put into a beta, I can imagine this engine is basically being held together by tape. And those who made the engine for 343 didn't do a very good job, and now it's taken a long time for it to be fixed. Another problem I think is happening at 343 is that they are dramatically understaffed. Looking at the careers page on Halo Waypoint, there are job offers across the board from design to art and engineering. On top of that, there are a lot of manager, director and senior job roles in those departments as well, which would stand to reason that 343 is a crew running without a captain. I think another problem that 343 have got, which is not really their fault, is rather a problem that lies with Microsoft. People seem to be very quick to judge 343 for the way the game is monetized, and they can't really say that, I don't really know how to explain it, but they blame 343 for the way the game is monetized and what they can and can't say, but I don't think it's 343's problem. I have to say that I remember back in 2017 when Battlefront 2 was released, so Battlefront 2 EA was released back in 2017. I personally had so much hype for that game. I played the demo at Eurogamer, I pre-ordered it the second I was allowed to, and I haven't had so much fun and so much hype for a game before, and Halo Infinite is the only other game that's got me to that hype stage. However, when it did release, there was one glaring issue with it, and that was loot boxes. And my god, that caused a huge stir. News articles all over the world were talking about this, to the point where some countries even made loot boxes illegal because it came under the cloud of gambling, which it does. And all the blame then went back to DICE for creating a game that had this feature in, when in reality they were forced into it by EA. And then they pulled the plug on Battlefront 2, that was also an EA decision, and since we know the fact that they had Padme and Ahsoka on the way, as well as new maps as well. So I don't actually think it's fair to push all the blame on 343 Industries, because they're most likely being dictated to by Microsoft a lot. However, they are not blameless by any means either. So that's what I think about the state of Halo Infinite at the moment. I'm having fun in the game when I do jump into it, and I think fundamentally it's still a really good game, but the lack of content to keep people like me interested is making me disinterested. And while I enjoy it, and really I enjoy playing it when I do play it, I can only play it in short bursts of time because it's the same thing over and over and over. The same thing I've been playing for the past 6 months, and it's getting boring now. I remember when they first released the multiplayer, they had these different events and they would have new game modes coming. Like they have a new event once a month for like a week or 2 weeks sometimes. Like when they had attrition with the Cyber Showdown event, that was so much fun because it was a brand new game mode. That's all I played for that entire 2 weeks of that that event was active. Then they got rid of attrition. Like we knew it was coming because it was there in the offline custom games browser. We could play it. I was playing it. I did a video on my channel of playing attrition before it was ever released in the Cyber Showdown Battle Pass. But why is it that they can't release that game mode now? Are they planning to use it for future, for another special kind of game mode? Why do they not release it? You know, like, release it the next month as a proper game mode. It brings some people back because we've got a new game mode. We've got new things that we can add to bring the player base back. It's not even the fact that the game mode was broken. It worked fine. There might be a few little bugs here and there, but it works fine. I didn't have any problems with it. And from what I see from people doing YouTube videos and live streamers and that, they didn't have any problems with it either. So any bugs, there's little bugs that they can sort of just like, you know, wrap up and chuck out the window as and when. But why are they not doing that? You know, but hopefully things will change when Season 2 drops, and things will change, judging by the Season 2 roadmap though. I don't really see it happening. I can see the season dropping content as scheduled in the roadmap, and then adding some bug fixes throughout the season, but as far as communication from 343, it'll be as definite as it is now. With some communication when some serious bugs take place, like when BTB broke, for example, when Campaign released. However, though, watch the livestream from 343 showcasing what's happening in Season 2's Battle Pass. It looks really good, and I'm hopeful, but I'm cautiously hopeful. Because this is how Season 1 started, and look where we ended up. And I have a feeling this is going to be the same, if we're going to be in the exact same position 6 months from now, nearer the end of Season 2, when Season 3 starts. I hope not, but that's where I think we're going to end up. So that's about all I have time for in this little talk, rant, explanation video. I just wanted to give my thoughts, because every other YouTuber, Halo YouTuber seems to, or YouTuber that covers Halo seems to be doing this as well. I haven't done so far because I've been so flat out with doing Traitor, but now Traitor's done and it is released. I can now focus on doing more regular content. I've got some ideas for content that I want to do. I'm thinking to do another Blade and Sorcery, and I've got a couple other games that I want to do videos on as well, which I think would be really cool. But I just hope to God, and when Season 2 releases, I will do a video giving my thoughts and reviews on it. But my God, I just hope to God that the communication with 343 just is somewhat better than this. Please, I wouldn't even mind it. Like I said earlier, I don't mind if they're going to be quiet, but at least tell us why it's happening and give us an explanation, so when we get annoyed that they're not being very chatty, we can think, right, well, we actually know why they're not being chatty. It might not be a very credible excuse, but it's better than nothing, which is what they're giving us at the moment. You know, so hopefully Season 2 will be better. I'm not particularly holding up any hope, and I know that sounds awful to say, but that's where 343 have left me as a Halo fan. I love Halo. I always loved Halo. I've always loved Halo from the moment I started playing it, and I think I always will in some way, shape or form. But at this moment in time, I'm just getting bored of Infinite, and if the last 2 months of each Battle Pass is just going to be filled up with nothing, I'm going to give up on this game really quickly. I think a lot of other players are as well. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little video though. If you have any thoughts, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, put them down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you've got to say about the state of Halo Infinite. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did enjoy, don't forget to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button for more awesome gaming content. And I shall see you all later. Bye!